The house that didn't echo. The house stood alone in the middle of an empty field where nothing grew. No road led to it, no fence surrounded it, and no other buildings were visible in any direction. Just dry grass bending under a steady wind that never seemed to change. He found it by accident. His phone lost signal first, then the GPS froze, and finally the screen went black despite the battery being nearly full. He kept driving anyway, trusting the road more than the technology, until the asphalt ended without warning. When he stopped, the house was already there, as if it had been waiting just outside his headlights. It looked ordinary, almost comforting. A simple two-story structure with dark windows and a porch light that flickered weakly. The kind of place that should have had neighbors, or at least a mailbox. There was none. When he stepped out of the car, the wind stopped instantly. The silence pressed in, thick and unnatural. No insects, no distant traffic. Even his footsteps sounded wrong, muffled, as if the air absorbed the noise before it could travel. He called out without thinking, just to test the space around him. His voice vanished the moment it left his mouth. There was no echo at all. The front door was unlocked. Inside, the air felt colder and heavier, like a sealed room that had never been meant to open again. The walls were bare, painted a dull color that reflected almost no light. The floorboards didn't creak. In fact, they made no sound whatsoever. He moved from room to room, each one empty yet strangely familiar. Faint marks on the walls where pictures had once hung. Shelves without dust. A table with a single chair pulled back, as if someone had just stood up and left in a hurry. He clapped his hands. Nothing. No echo. No reverberation. The silence swallowed the motion completely. It felt intentional. Upstairs, the hallway stretched longer than it should have. Doors lined the walls, all closed. At the end of the hall was a bedroom. The bed was neatly made, untouched. Curtains hung motionless over the window that faced the endless field. On the nightstand lay a small notebook. It was filled with dates, written neatly, one per page. Hundreds of them. The handwriting never changed. The last page contained only one entry, today's date. The door closed behind him. He turned sharply, heart racing, but the room looked the same. The door was shut, silent. He grabbed the handle and pulled. It opened easily, revealing the hallway again, but something was wrong. The hallway was longer now. Much longer. He stepped out and began walking, trying to stay calm, counting his steps without realizing it. The number climbed far beyond what made sense. When he looked back, the bedroom door was gone. Panic surged. He shouted, screamed, struck the walls with his fists. Nothing answered. Not even the sound of his own voice. That was when he noticed something worse. He could no longer hear his breathing. His chest moved, his lungs burned, but there was no sound. The silence was no longer empty. It felt focused. Listening. A faint rhythm began to emerge, slow and deep, coming from everywhere at once. Like breathing but not his. The walls seemed to pulse subtly, expanding and contracting in time with it. The floor trembled beneath his feet. Suddenly, the stairs appeared in front of him, and he stumbled down them, nearly falling. At the bottom, the front door stood wide open, revealing the field bathed in dim moonlight. He ran. The moment he crossed the threshold, sound crashed back into existence. Wind roared. Grass rustled violently. His breath tore out of his chest in ragged gasps. He collapsed to his knees, shaking, afraid to look back. When he finally did, the house was gone. There was nothing but the empty field, stretching endlessly in all directions. His car sat exactly where he had left it. The road was there again. Normal. He drove without stopping, without looking back, until the sky began to lighten. Weeks later, the silence still followed him. Sometimes, in quiet rooms, he noticed how sound seemed to fade too quickly around him, how his voice felt smaller than it should. And on certain nights, just before sleep, he could hear it again, a slow, patient breathing, waiting for him to return.